Have you ever wondered how some landowners manage to pay so little in property taxes while keeping their land for farming, timber, or just enjoying the outdoors? In this episode, I'm breaking down CUVA, the Conservation Use Valuation Assessment, a program right here in Georgia that could save you thousands on your property taxes. Whether you're a landowner looking to reduce your tax burden or just curious about how it all works, this episode's for you. Welcome to The Outdoor Agent, where real estate and the great outdoors meet. I'm Dekota Oechsle, a real estate professional from Griffin, Georgia, and I have a passion for tracking down more than just the perfect property. Here, we're going to explore not only the world of real estate, but also dive into a bit of the outdoor life that I enjoy. Whether you're here for real estate insights, a few laughs, or stories from the field, you're in the right place. So let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Another great day here at the Outdoor Agent Podcast. I am Dekota Oechsle, and today we're talking about a pretty sweet program that we have in Georgia. It's called CUVA, or the Conservation Use Valuation Assessment. And it's pretty awesome for landowners looking to lower property taxes or reduce their tax bill. But before we begin, let me make something real clear. I'm not a lawyer or a tax professional, and this is just for information and entertainment purposes only. And I encourage you to consult with an expert, whether it be tax or legal related, for your own personalized advice. And anyhow, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's go and get started. So what is CUVA? In simple terms, it's a program that offers reduced property taxes for landowners who commit to conserving their land for agriculture, forestry, or environmentally sensitive purposes. It's a win-win for the landowner and the state. As a landowner, you'll save money on your property taxes, and the state, we're conserving land so it can stay, whether it be in production for ag or as timber or just, a beautiful field and not a subdivision. So the big idea is, instead of being taxed on the fair market value of your land, your tax on it is in its current use, conservation use, and that means a property used for farming or timber production is taxed differently from one that could be turned into a subdivision or a warehouse or, a shopping mall. The result is lower taxes for the landowner, and they get to keep their land in conservation and keep it beautiful, in my opinion. So for an example, if let's say you own 20 acres of land in Georgia, Spalding County, Pike County is where I'm currently located, but anywhere in Georgia. Under CUVA, your taxes can be significantly lower because you're not paying based on what a developer might pay for that land. Other states might have this. I know we might have some listeners in other states. I'll just say check your local or your state tax code, see if there's anything in there for conservation. You can search CUVA, that's CUVA, and then your state in Google, and it should pop up something for you. Because I'm in Georgia, I'm talking about Georgia. So now that we know what CUVA is, at least at a high level, let's break down how it works. First up, what is eligible to be entered into CUVA? Well, generally, you need at least 10 acres of qualifying land, although some counties may require more, some maybe less, but typically it's at least 10 acres. And your land needs to be used for things like farming or timber production or an environmentally sensitive area such as, wetland or... Guys, I had to go look up what an environmentally protected area is. The state of Georgia rules and regs for environmentally sensitive properties include mountainous terrain defined as any land 1,000 feet or more above the lowest elevation of the county, or wetland areas, or significant groundwater recharge areas, or undeveloped barrier islands, and river stream corridors or buffers. And now we have the technical stuff out of the way, let's get back into it. So CUVA is a 10-year covenant, and when you enroll in CUVA, you're making a promise to the state to maintain your land in its designated use for 10 years. And then after that, you can renew for another 10 years if you want and keep the benefits. The application process is straightforward, but it is important. And you'll file with your local county tax assessor's office, usually by April 1st. You'll want to be prepared to provide documentation about your land use. Each county may have slightly different requirements, so just check with your local county tax assessor's office. Residential or commercial properties or commercial businesses don't qualify, So when I'm dealing with buyers or sellers that may have properties with homes on them in CUVA, typically you need about 12 acres total to reach that 10-acre minimum to be put into CUVA. And then you'd have the remainder 2 acres of land that's developed with a house or driveways or outbuildings would be taxed at the normal rates, and then the conservation use would be at a lower rate. So, what is the benefit of CUVA, and why is it worth considering if you are a landowner, or maybe something to look out for if you're in the market for purchasing property? Well, the biggest benefit is obviously the lower property taxes. And for landowners, this can mean saving thousands of dollars over the 10-year covenant. And if you're someone who loves the outdoors or just loves nature, or it helps ensure that your land stays natural and productive, whether it be for farming, timber, wildlife, etc. But like any program, CUVA comes with responsibilities. And if you break the covenant, say by selling the land or changing its use, you will face penalties. And that includes paying back twice the tax savings you received plus interest. So it's crucial to understand the commitment you're signing up for. And also on the buying side, if you're looking to purchase property, if your agent pulls the tax records, or it's public knowledge, if you know where to go on the tax assessor's side as a buyer, you can pull this yourself and just look at the tax assessor site, and you'll see something like conservation use or CUVA or reduced rates, typically noted on the tax assessment portion on the tax assessor site, and you'll be able to see if it's in a conservation use, and typically it will show the date that it was enrolled. But you can think of CUVA as a long-term investment, and it's not for everyone. But for the right landowners, it's in fact a fantastic way to save money and preserve the land. One thing to be aware of as well is if a property is sold that is in a covenant period or in CUVA, the new landowner must agree to continue the covenant, or the buyer will be responsible for the penalties and the taxes that are assessed in breaking the covenant or the CUVA period if the covenant's breached under the new owner's ownership. So here's where CUVA ties into my passion for the outdoors. As a hunter and someone who loves land stewardship, I see CUVA as more than just a tax break. It's a way to care for the land. For example, if you're managing timber, CUVA can help offset the cost of sustainable forestry practices like planting new trees or maintaining wildlife habitat, along with other federal funded or state funded grants as well. I mean, we might get into that in a future episode. But similarly, if you're a farmer, CUVA supports keeping your land in production rather than selling out or turning your farmland into a new warehouse or subdivision. Like, we need more of those. It's really about being a good steward, not just of your finances, but of the land itself. And that's something I personally value, and I know many of you do as well. Pulling from some of the sites on the state of Georgia, there's some frequently asked questions, and I'll just list out a few of them here. If you're a landowner already enrolled in CUVA, you can sell your land, but the new owner has to agree to keep the covenant for the remainder of the term. And if they don't, the new owner or the buyer will be responsible for the penalties. And remember, that's 2 times the tax savings plus interest. So that can rack up pretty quick. Second one is if you want to build a house, CUVA allows some flexibility, but you'll need to work with your tax assessor to ensure you don't violate the terms of the covenant. And that's more than likely going to be making sure that you're not getting below the 10-acre minimum or the county acreage minimum for the program. That's just one thing to note. If you're looking for a property and you see us in CUVA, you need to make sure you're going to have enough property that will be able to stay in the program if you decide to build a house or a barn or anything. And typically, it's impervious land or pervious land needs to remain above 10 acres or the county minimum. Some of them are 15, 20, 25 acres. It just depends on the county. But the minimum for the state is 10 acres. And a myth for CUVA is that CUVA limits what you can do on your land, and that's not entirely true. So long as your primary use remains in the line with the program, such as farming or timber production, you can have the freedom to manage your land however you want. The program is really just ensuring that the properties are going to remain in either production ag, production timber, or the environmentally protected categories that we discussed earlier. So is CUVA right for you? If you own land in Georgia and you're committed to keeping it natural and productive, it's absolutely worth exploring. Not only could you save some money, but you'll also be part of preserving Georgia's landscapes for future generations. If you have questions about CUVA or need help figuring out if your property qualifies, you reach out to your county tax assessor, and they should be able to help you. And I'll have some documents in the show notes or a link to a Google Drive or something of some resources that I pulled from to get all this pulled together for you. Guys, that's really all I got today for CUVA. I hope that was informational and helped somebody out here. So if you're in Georgia and looking for a piece of property or want to know if your property that you're looking at is already in CUVA, you can reach out to me. I'll have my contact information in the show notes. I'll be happy to look into that for you, as well as help you find your next dream property. I also want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. I hope everyone has safe travels. If you're traveling, I'm going to be with family, and then we're heading to the deer woods, and we'll see if we have something to talk about when we get back. It's been pretty slow the last couple of weeks. But with that said, whether you're tracking trophy game, scouting for your dream home, or hunting your next great investment, remember, every hunt has a story. I'm Dekota Oechsle, and I'll see you next time.